Well, as you can see, things have taken a bit of a turn for the worst here. I guess that's what you get for trying to ride Snowdon in January. Many people would consider mountain biking a daft hobby. Even more would question the sanity of riding up a big old Welsh mountain in the middle of January. And yet here I am. Probably not my best idea for a video, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Alongside the likes of Bike Park Wales, Coedy Brennan, Golfy, Glentress, Snowdon is a rite of passage for UK mountain bikers, and it's easy to see why. With nearly 1,000 metres of elevation change between the base and the summit, this is a proper mountain. And there are 3 different routes to the top that are legal, and each of them are challenging in different ways. So what on earth am I doing here just a few days after the mountain was battered by yet another winter storm? Well, the reason, and hear me out here, is that I wanted to check out the climbing prowess of the latest generation of e-bikes, specifically with the new Bosch CX motor fitted to the Mondraker Crafty that I'm riding here. I went to the launch for this bike in Finale and I was genuinely blown away by its climbing prowess. I'm sure you know Finale is an enduro paradise with some world-class descending. But in some perverse way, I had as much fun, maybe even more fun, challenging myself to ride up the technical rocky gullies. I know, mad, right? So when I got home, I thought I need to take this somewhere in the UK, really challenging, and see how it measures up.
And then I had a flashback. The last time I rode Snowdon was 2011. We had a really good crew. There was Ben Cathro, Chris Porter, and the guys from MTB Cut were there filming it. In fact, there's even a video on YouTube documenting the ride. But the star of the show was 2-time world downhill champion Fabien Barel, who was actually riding for Mondraker at the time. And it was a wild, wild day. I think the winds at the summit were almost 80 miles an hour. And what really stayed with me, aside from the extreme weather, was Fabien's technical climbing skills. He stitched together some truly impressive moves with 0 dabs. Like one of those record-breaking Rubik's Cube wizards, there was an effortless fluidity to how he solved these technical puzzles, while we plodded along behind, pushing and carrying our bikes. It was a masterful display of balance, timing and power.
So I'm kind of hoping with the help of this new Bosch motor and a 800 watt-hour battery, I'm going to be able to channel a little Barel magic into today's ride.
Snowdon facts. Snowdon should really be referred to by its native Welsh name, Yr Wyddfa. The summit is 1,085 metres above sea level, and given that the sea is right down there, that means the elevation difference is basically 1,000 metres depending on the path you take. And that makes it the highest peak this side of the Scottish border. In 2022, over 500,000 people climbed to the top of Snowdon. That's 1,500 people per day. And even Edmund Hillary used it for training before his 1953 ascent of Everest. The 3 legal trails for riding on are the Llanberis Path, the Rangers Path and Rhyd D. Most riders climb up the Llanberis Path and descend on one of the other 2 options, where Rhyd D is more of a picky technical ridgeline with sections you'll need to walk, and the Rangers is more rideable but less spectacular. Another consideration to make when planning a route on Snowdon is the voluntary ban on cycling during the summer months. This is because of the huge numbers of visitors during the summer. In fact, it gets so busy that there are often queues of 45 minutes to get a summit selfie. So in the summer you either need to ride up in the dark and descend at sunrise, or pedal up at 5 PM and descend as the sun is setting. But in the winter there's no restriction, so you can head up at any time of the day. Just keep in mind that this is a proper mountain environment, with the potential for high winds, cold temperatures, snow, rain, ice and cliffs. If the weather closes in, visibility will be zero, and that's when it's really easy to get disorientated and make a mistake with your navigation. So make sure you let people know where you are, bring spare clothing, food and ideally a map and compass, as well as the knowledge of how to use it. The new Mondraker Crafty is the latest evolution of the Spanish brand's best-selling e-bike, and it brings a swathe of improvements over its predecessor to take the performance to the next level. The most obvious update is to the suspension, where the shock now runs through the seat tube, helping to create more room to drop the top tube and make it easier to move around the bike. Yet somehow Mondraker has found enough room to let you run a water bottle and a range extender at the same time. Still got 160mm of travel at the front and 150 at the back, but there's now also a flip chip to give 2 BB heights and 2 head angles. I'm actually running it in the low BB setting because I think it gives the best handling and suspension performance, but I've not clipped my pedals once on it today. The front end on this RR model is carbon, while the back end is alloy. And I think a lot of you will be pleased to see that the battery is easily removable from the down tube with just an Allen key, which makes lifting the bike in the car and charging up the battery so much easier. It's not only Mondraker that's been busy refining the Crafty's performance. Bosch has also played a massive part in the development of this bike. That's because the latest CX motor unlocks climbs that I'd never previously thought possible. And Bosch has done this without actually adding any more power. All the improvements come from the way the motor's 85 Nm of torque and 600 watts of peak power are delivered. There is a new accuracy to the motor that means I can get exactly the right amount of power at precisely the right moment. No lag, no stalling, no lurching. It's like using a dimmer switch instead of a light switch. And part of the reason for that is the addition of 2 new sensors in the motor that collect data on the angle of the bike and the surface of the trail. All that data feeds into the Bosch brain, letting me concentrate on line choice while the motor takes care of the power delivery. Relatively long 455mm chainstays on the smaller frame sizes and chunky 2.6-inch tyres further enhance the climbing prowess of the Crafty, while taller riders can enjoy a similar balance with 10mm longer chainstays on the large and extra large.
Well, as you can see, things have taken a bit of a turn for the worst here. I guess that's what you get for trying to ride Snowdon in January, but we've been told that it's very treacherous on the next section, so we're going to go and take a look, but we're not going to take any risks, so let's see how bad it is. So we made it to the ranger's path. It was pretty sketchy out there, but we got through it. But I think, given the conditions, discretion is the better part of valor. I think we're going to just head down the mountain now rather than go and bag our summit selfie. So it's not really the best day for a view. So we'll see you on the descent. Right, here we go. This is the Ranger path. It's super sketchy, and actually every time you stop, brakes freeze up, and then we've got no brakes, which is not ideal. Doesn't look like many people have come down here. Not too many footprints. It's so tricky because the snow is rock hard underneath. So it's bikes going everywhere. Now my goggles are starting to ice up. Can't believe I haven't ridden Snowdon since 2011. Well, actually I can, because 14 years of bike development has turned this challenge on its head. Last time I rode here it was all about the descent, and the climb was just a means to an end. But bikes like the Mondraker Crafty with the new Bosch CX motor have made the ride up just as fun and rewarding as the way down. And if you haven't ridden Snowdon yet, then please put it on your bucket list, because there aren't many big mountains in the UK that are so approachable and memorable to ride. Finally, I want to know whether you get excited about the challenge of a technical climb, and if you have any climbing tips, please let me know in the comments below.